Hello and welcome to this video tutorial for creating an equipment report in Hermes. The first step is to log into Hermes and navigate to the main page. This was covered in our first video in this series, Getting Started with Hermes, so we're going to dive straight in at this point. At the main menu, click on the Equipment Report button and then the Equipment Reports option. At the top of the Equipment Reports section, you're going to see 6 tabs. The first 4 tabs relate to an individual report and contain all of the details that we are going to fill in today. Tab 5 contains a list of all the reports currently in the database, and Tab 6 contains search controls which allow you to filter the list of reports on Tab 5. If you are interested in reviewing the search options, please view our other videos entitled Viewing Equipment Reports and Setting Search Parameters. Tab 1 contains all of the top level information for our equipment report. First is the name of the person who is in charge of conducting the work. It defaults to the person who is logged into the system. Secondly is the piece of equipment that you are working on. Equipment in Hermes is organised in a tree-like hierarchy, and you select from this structure exactly what equipment you are working on. In this case, line 1 filler. We then select the type of job that we are on. There are 2 types of breakdown. These are electrical and mechanical. These are the only job types that you should select if the machine has been stopped as the result of a failure. The other 2 report types that we're interested in are corrective and improvement. Corrective jobs are those where you're correcting something that's wrong but it has not stopped the machine from running. And improvement jobs are ones where you're not correcting something, you are simply improving something that was already working fine. I'm going to select electrical breakdown. For all of the report types that you select, a short description appears to the right of it. From this you should be able to work out what all the other types are for. We then select a report subtype. We use this to more clearly define the type of job that we have completed. Next we fill in the start date and time and the end date and time. I'm just going to put a 1-minute gap in for the purpose of this video. With the general tab now complete, we can move on to the details section. You can do this by clicking the next button, or you can do it by selecting the option from the tab bar at the top of the screen. In the problem field, you want to fill out a suitable title for the report. If you have reset an overload or changed the setting, try to get the reference to this in the field if possible, such as I've reset overload Q123.4. The details field is the body of the report, and it is here that we fill out what activities we have undertaken and any details that may help other people in future if they encounter similar problems to us. Once we have filled in the details of the job, we then record who else was in attendance at the time that we completed the job. The idea behind this is that if somebody else is reading the report later on and they need to ask questions and the author isn't about, they can ask anybody else on the attendees list, safe in the knowledge that these people have the knowledge to be able to answer the question. Now for the most basic of reports, that is all we need to do. The next few steps that I'm going to go through are all optional. So if we wanted to, at this stage, we could just save the report and exit. To demonstrate this, I'm going to click the Save button. And as you can see, a log number is generated, indicating that this job saved fine. If the amount of time that we were on this job, as defined by the start and end time set in the Generals tab, was to go over a certain period, the RCA system would be triggered when we tried to save the equipment report. At present, this trigger time is between 3 to 4 hours, so any job taking over 4 hours would trigger an RCA. When this happens, a box appears asking if you would like to start an RCA. This is called the RCA prompt box. Here you have 2 options. You can either accept this and click yes to start an RCA, or you can click no if you do not feel that the job requires an RCA. If you click no, you will be asked why you do not want to start an RCA. This can be because you do not think that the job warrants one, or because the fault has not been clearly identified yet, and you get the opportunity to respond as such. If you do this and then click OK, your response gets added to the box at the bottom of the Details tab titled RCA Prompt Result, so that anybody who's curious as to why you did not complete an RCA can find out why. RCAs and the RCA system is a topic in its own right and will not be covered in this video. Tab 3 contains the follow-up section. A follow-up is a piece of work related to the job that we could not do at the time and needs to be done in future. This ranges from a failure that was spotted that could not be repaired due to not having the time or the parts, through to things that we want to come back to check later on, such as I've lubricated the bearing but it will need checking in a week's time to ensure it is still okay. You only fill this section out if you feel that you need to. It's not a requirement. In the follow-up report section is where we fill out the details of what follow-up work needs to be done. In the parts required box, we fill out all the parts that we think we might need to complete the follow-up section that we've filled out. In this case, it's just an inspection, so I don't need any parts. At the bottom there is the Assign To tab. Here we fill out who the work is assigned to. If you do not select someone for the work to be assigned to, it will be assigned to yourself as you are the person filling out the report. This is demonstrated here, where I fill out a follow-up job and then I click on the Save button without assigning anybody. My name, as you can see, appears in the Assign To field. The other boxes on this tab are for your benefit so that you can track Maximo orders attached to this report. These are not automatically generated or updated and as such have mainly fallen out of general use. Once you have completed this follow-up work, you can navigate back to this report later on and then tick the Completed tick box. The records that are tracked by the maintenance team then show that the activity is finished and does not require any more attention. Last but not least is the Attached Files tab. This control allows you to add instruction manuals, one-point lessons and pictures of the equipment that you were working on. You add a file by clicking the button with the plus symbol on it, and you are presented with a standard Windows Select File dialog. From here you select the files that you want to add to the report. Once you have added a file, anyone else can open it by clicking the Open File button. And if you so wish, you can delete the file by clicking the Delete button to the left of it. Well, that is how to add equipment reports to Hermes, and I hope you have found this to be beneficial. This was a relatively long tutorial video and I hope it was not too hard going. While we do everything in our power to give you as much information as possible, it is quite possible that you still have some questions unanswered. So let me take this opportunity to encourage you to view our other videos, and if you still need assistance, please feel free to contact your local support representative.